Hi, Jerry. Yeah, come on in. You lock your door.
I do.
Is that a habit? Is just from being a police officer for so many years?
I believe so.
I'd say so, yeah. Do you find that a lot of people still lock their doors here? What is your
50-50?
I'd say it's probably 50.
Same
and in
thing
the old days?
Yeah, in the old days, nobody locked their doors.
Nobody locked their doors.
You could go in anybody's house.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
So, is there a reason why you decided to retire now? I mean, you're not that old.
Well, I'm 60, and I'll be honest with you, most of my friends that I started with here in the late 70s and early 80s are already retired. And I was getting Christmas cards with things written like, pull the pin, what are you still doing there? That sort of thing. So most of my friends have retired when they were 53 to 57.
Is that it?
So I've hung in there a little longer. You can stay until you're 65, but I'm good to go at 60.
Are you ready to do something else?
I don't really know. Fortunately, I can work part-time for the department as a special, and then Sheriff Perlman's been kind enough to hire me as a reserve deputy. So
okay.
I'll work for
That's
Jimmy.
That's right. I mean, Libby said that you're not actually completely leaving.
Completely gone. But, you know, let the next generation take over and move on.
What was your job as a police officer?
Well, I was a lieutenant, as an administrative lieutenant for Chief Pittman. I was a police prosecutor. We prosecute about 1,000 cases a year at various levels, juvenile, superior court, district court, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then I was the public information officer, so that's why you see me quoted so much. Angus McVicker is going to take that job over.
Well, it's now his turn to be in the hot seat, right? Let him have it. He's a perfect guy for it, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's got a good attitude.
Well, and the best part is he's a native, so
exactly.
He knows everything.
And you're not.
No, I'm originally from Connecticut. I don't tell many people that, but you know. So,
why? What's wrong with Connecticut?
Nothing.
I know.
Absolutely.
Of course. What brought you to Nantucket? Why did you?
Actually, about 38 years ago, I was going to Northeastern University, and they had a program where you could take jobs, and one of them was to come to Nantucket for the summer. And a friend of mine named Paul Machado said, you ought to try it. I did it last summer, and I came down.
What year was this?
1979.
Yep.
And I worked the summer. At the end of the summer, the chief was Anthony Hopfinger.
Oh, so you were a police officer?
Police officer, and he appointed us as summer specials, and then he asked me if I wanted to be a year-round reserve. So I went on and stayed, but I was in shock because Nantucket was like Disney World to me. I said, this is great. And then Labor Day came, and all the people went away, and my assignment was to patrol Sconset from the 4th milestone around Pulpus down to the Life Saving Museum. And I left the station when we used to work out at 3 East Chestnut Street.
Yep.
And I didn't see another car. It's from 7 at night until 3:30 in the morning for the whole shift. I mean, it was just a different world out here. It just died at the end of it. It's probably about 4,500 people living out here in the winter.
Right. Do you miss those?
You know, it's kind of funny. I used to park at Pocomo and look at the lights from the town in Nantucket and wish it was like Boston or something, and that would be busier.
Yeah, right.
And now I sit there and I look at it and I wish I was back in 1979 in the winter when it was quieter and you could go all over the island, circumnavigate it, you know.
It's true. Now, what kept you here, though? Mary is your lovely wife.
Well, that's a tale in itself.
Because, most young police officers, they want action.
Yes.
Right? They want to be busy.
I did leave. I left in the mid-'80s, and I went to the world and worked in the Metro West Department. And during that process, my wife was a victim of crime. And at the time, I worked nights, but I also was the police prosecutor there out of Dedham District Court. So Mary had been down at, she kept a horse at the Norfolk County Hunt Club. and some young guys with some air rifles shot out her window when she was driving by, and I managed to catch them. And due to the slow, drawn-out judicial system, I spent a lot of time with her at the courthouse with different hearings and court, trial, and then the sentencing and everything. And afterwards, I thought she was pretty nifty, so I asked her out for coffee, and then the rest of it's history.
Oh boy.
But one of the things that happened is, like so many of us, I had sand in my shoes, and I was a sergeant at the time, and I kept talking about Nantucket, and the fellows I worked with said, you ought to just go back there. That's all you ever talk about. So Mary and I packed up and came back and
started your lives.
We did. So yeah.
Do you have children?
No, we got married a little late in life, so that just.
She's never been. Was she married prior?
No, she wasn't.
So you guys did. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
So we came back, and we're never leaving. Our last real estate purchase was up at the Highland, or the Catholic Cemetery up there. So
oh, really?
We'll be staying for the rest of the term.
You really are going to stick it out, huh?
Absolutely, or at least if we can, we will.
Well, that's a good thing. So, in those old days, the whole style of the police force was a little different, a little more relaxed, but yet,
Well, it was a different time, and there were different needs.
Tell us some of the stories, some of the incidences. Come on, you got to tell us some.
That's a tough one, Gene.
Is there? There's so many of them.
Well, there are, and then some of them have names attached to them.
All right, let's forget about let's forget about the names.
I could tell you the changes of how it is. I could tell you.
What was the most bizarre call you ever got? Would you say one of them?
Well, I can just tell you kind of practical, everyday sort of things that was different from there to now.
Okay.
When I first started, I worked nights, and at the time, George Resendes was the captain on the department, and it was November 1st, and it was the beginning of scallop season, so all the trailers were out without benefit of plates or taillights at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I started stopping cars and writing tickets for unregistered or out taillights on these things, and the fellows were just trying to get their boats in for scallop. And the captain rolled up and asked to speak to me, and I said, sure. And he says, Jerry, what are you doing? And I said, well, I got all these guys with trailers, and they don't have any registrations on them or any old taillights. And he goes, Jerry, twice a year we have, in November they go in, and in March they come out. I said, okay, Captain. I said, what do you think? I go patrol Sconset. He says, I think that's a real good idea. And that was the kind of style we had back then, I think. We did take things seriously, but there was a little more wiggle room, I think, out there to take care of things, because there were fewer people and less risk, and that sort of benefit. But I'll tell you something, Nantucket is a very unique place, and our police officers face a variety of things. I think people have a perception that everyone out here is a millionaire, and there's
they certainly do.
And the biggest crime we have is like parking violations and whatnot. But there are people out here that have long criminal records, commit very violent crimes, and fortunately we don't have a whole lot of that. But we face everything from drunk driving and domestic violence, all the way up to, and occasionally, unfortunately, we don't have much of it, a homicide every decade or so.
Yeah, exactly. But those are the odds of what we've become.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole island community, there's more people here than I can imagine. I don't think we have an accurate count of how many people live here year-round now.
About 16,000, I would guess.
I would say there. I think Catherine puts it at more like 20 or something.
Okay.
Or low 20s, but I think she may be right. I think there's a lot of folks that aren't on the books that are out here, either they're here for, construction jobs from other states and other countries.
What made you want to become a police officer?
That goes way back. I was probably 15 years old.
Oh, gosh.
My grandfather was a deputy sheriff in Kansas, and he worked for the federal prison system, and he ended up working at Leavenworth and some of the other federal facilities back in the 30s and 40s.
I see.
So it was kind of in the family, but I don't know, I just always wanted to do it. There was a group of us that I went to college with that were very much into it, wanted to be the new Centurions, come out and do it a different way, you know, more modern.
Do you still keep in contact with
I do. Some of them passed away, but there are a few that are left on the job, and most are already retired.
If you had to do it over again, Jerry, and still become a police officer, would you have done it any differently? Would you maybe have gotten into a different kind of law enforcement, or had you ever wanted to be a state cop or move on to something federal?
I applied for the DEA a long time ago, and I went for the interview. I was in Boston, and I sat with an agent, and he says, you know, everything's looking good, your background's okay, and he said, but do you really want to do this? And he says, we're probably going to ship you to some place like, you know, LA or Detroit, and you might end up in Columbia or something, or do you want to do more of a local law enforcement? At the time I was here, I said, no, I think I just want to be a local cop.
Yeah.
And
I mean, how could you not? I mean, those days were unbelievable out here.
It was all fun.
But if you had to come out here now and still choose Nantucket as a young person, it would be tough.
Yeah, it's tough for the young guys now because they can't get into the housing market. And, you know, the expenses out here are difficult. And the other one people have to understand, these guys work, they work pretty much 7 days a week. Most of our fellows haven't had a holiday off because we have so many events that we have what there's called blackout weekends, where they work 4th of July, they work every holiday, you know.
Oh, I know.
Christmas stroll, every Daffodil weekend, all these holidays they don't get off for years at a time, and you know, that's a difficult things on family and whatnot, which doesn't take place as much on the mainland. We don't have mutual aid out here, so we always need to have all hands on deck during the summertime. It's hard to get time off. It's a tough job out here, and the expenses and trying to keep contact with a family off island and traveling is difficult.